Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the 13th Man Sports Live Show. Hope you're all staying safe and enjoying your weather wherever you are. Frankie, how's it going?
You say enjoying the weather, Shane. I walked outside this morning and nearly froze my ass off. So,
Yeah, I loved it. As a big guy
dude,
who hates the winter or hates the summer, I absolutely loved it.
I did too, but I don't know. It was a little bit too cold for me for the summer. I want it perfect, and today was not perfect.
Yeah, that's for sure. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. It's either going to be too hot or too cold. But hey, it's better than minus 40-degree weather.
No, I disagree. I'd rather minus 40, but whatever.
Well, you're just crazy at that point. But let's get into it. We have a packed episode today, with a lot going on in the sports world. So, Frankie, you're the one who set this up, so I'm going to let you introduce who our first guest is on today's episode.
So I'm actually not looking at our little window here, so I don't know what's happening behind the scenes here, but we've brought Eddie Benhin, co-founder of 613 Sports, on with us. And if you don't know anything about Eddie or 613 Sports and you live in the Ottawa area, you should. They are absolutely fantastic, covering all the local teams, all that fun stuff. Shane and I were both a part of that for quite some time. So thank you very much for coming on with us today, Eddie.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to see you guys again.
Yeah, it's been too long since I've seen you.
A long time for sure.
Yeah, but let me tell you, man, I tweeted out last weekend, I believe it was, that you and AJ Jackie are the only two dudes in Ottawa that are the reason why I know anything about what's happening with the Canadians men's national team. So that's why we wanted to bring you on. So first things first, they're out of the, I guess, second round of qualifying, right?
Yeah, so they have advanced to the final round of World Cup qualifying. It's the first time we're in the final round since 1997. So, I wasn't alive last time that happened. So it's pretty big for Canada soccer for sure.
So going into this, what were your expectations? And did you even think this would be a possibility?
Honestly, I actually had a good feeling. Well, honestly, COVID played a big part because initially it's only the top 6 teams that make it into this final round of qualifying. It's called the hexagonal, but because of COVID, it got bumped up to 2 more teams. So now we call it the Ocho. So that's kind of what gave Canada that last chance to get in. That's how we got in through the last qualifying. So we're actually one of the last 2 teams to make it in. But once they changed that format, I knew we probably would make it here. Our roster is so much in depth, and we have a lot of stars now playing in Europe, and I think we have a good chance to qualify World Cup. I don't know if we're going to do it, but I think we're going to make a real push for it this year.
Now, for the people that are also me, that don't know that much about what's going on with this hexagonal, I didn't even know that was actually what it was called.
Yeah, now it's called the Ocho.
Again. Yeah. So how exactly does that work? And what do you think Canada's chances of actually getting through realistically are?
So starting from September and running towards to March, I think, and every international break. So in total, Canada's going to play 14 matches. And basically how it works, the top 3 teams in the Ocho are going to automatically qualify for the 2022 Qatar World Cup. And the 4th place team is going to be playing a playoff match against a team from another confederation, like from Asia or Africa. I don't think it's been decided yet. But Canada, we're going to be playing against Mexico, USA, Panama, Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Jamaica. I think almost all of these teams have been in the World Cup before. So it's tough, but it was any Canadian team since I've been alive to do it. I think this is the team to do it. Just the amount of stars we have. I think we're going to surprise people. It's just 14 games. Anything can happen, a home and away. I rate Canada's chances pretty high. I don't know if we're going to make, for second, but I think 3rd place or 4th place is very doable for Canada.
And it's the top 4 that qualify out of it?
So top 3 automatically qualify. The 4th place will play in a playoff match.
Okay.
So.
Outside of Jonathan David and, oh my God, don't let me forget his name. Oh, that's not good. Help me.
I have no idea. Soccer
Alfonso.
is just
Alfonso Davies. Thank you.
There we go.
What's the because everybody in Canada basically knows who those guys are at this point. Who else on the team should the average fan be looking at to put Team Canada over the hump?
Kyle Larin, he just won the league in Turkey with Besiktas. He's actually he scored both goals to make us go through this final round against Haiti. He's a top player. He's a clinical finisher. He should be scoring a lot of goals. You look in the midfield, we have a lot of MLS players. You have Sam Piet, you have Estacio. There's a lot of players there who European teams are now looking towards. But it's honestly a group effort. Like, we can't lie. The stars are carrying us. Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, Kyle Larin, their contributions are helping us. But the rest of the team is very solid. And I think when you work together with John Herdman, who coached the women's team, and we know how successful the women have been, I think it's a group effort. But all those 3 stars are really headlining it.
Yeah. And how important do you think having the stars like Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies is to a team like Team Canada?
I mean, you need stars to put you over the top in any sport, right? You look at hockey. If your team doesn't have stars, you might go far, but you're missing something to get you over the top, right? You need those difference makers where just one snap of a second and something's created out of nothing, and that's what Davies and David and Larin contribute. And I think what we were missing in Canada, we were missing that kind of superstar power. I mean, we have Jonathan David, who's arguably one of the best defenders left back in the whole world. Jonathan David from Ottawa, who played for Gloucester Hornets and Dragons. His value is skyrocketing. And you have someone who's playing in Turkey, which is a very hard league, and won it. So those kind of players push you over the top when times are rough. When you need to scrape a goal out of nowhere, those are the players to count on. And I expect them to contribute in these 14 matches.
And I mean, when you also need to find a goal, it does help when the Haitian keeper puts one in his own net as well. I want to ask you quickly about that goal. I'm assuming you were watching that game live, knowing how big of a soccer fan you are. What were your thoughts when that happened?
Honestly, I immediately felt bad because I just know, like, it's a tough place to be in. I saw what he did. He miskicked it, and I just know. It was going to be memes everywhere. But I will say, though, that a lot of mainstream media wasn't saying, because they were saying that goal made us win, but we were already leading on aggregate 1-0. So that goal didn't really have an effect. But obviously, mentally, it didn't help. I'm going to take it for Canada, but I do really feel bad for that keeper, who, by the way, was born in Montreal. So
yeah. And that game ended 3-0 as well, right?
Exactly. So it really didn't have any part to play. I mean, obviously, it did demoralize Haiti a little bit, but realistically, I think Canada was going to take that anyways.
Yeah. In terms of this World Cup, I don't think really anybody thought that this would be a possibility, right? Like, everybody kind of knows that this Team Canada is gearing up for 2026 when they're set to co-host. How surprised are you that they are in the position that they're in right now?
I'm super surprised. I mean, before COVID hit, it wasn't looking bright for Canada to even make it to the final stage, which wasn't anything new since we haven't made it since 1997. But because of COVID, they opened 2 more places, and all of a sudden, we had a direct path towards it. So we're beyond expectations now. Now it's just, how far can we go? All right. We're not supposed to make the World Cup. So if we don't, no big deal. But we are prepping for 2026. But now that we have this opportunity, which doesn't come often, clearly, we need to make the most of it. And we should be competing at least for that 4th spot minimum.
Yeah. How big is it going forward? Like, especially for the younger guys, because the team is pretty young. How big is it to have the experience going into this round where even if you don't win, it's not the end of the world, where, you need to win in 2026?
Yeah, this is huge for them. I mean, they're all young. By the time 2026 comes, they're going to be a lot older and more in their prime. But this is a young experience for a lot of these players, and pressure's not really on their shoulders. So they get to go and play against top teams in CONCACAF. I mean, all these teams I listed are really, really good teams. They're the best. And it's your chance to test them. I mean, last time we played America, we won 2-0 at BMO Field. First time it happened in years. And the scenes were crazy. So these players, the more they get experience, you pair that up with what they're doing in domestic leagues, and Canada's confidence going into 2026 is going to be at a really all-time high. But right now, no pressure's on. Let's see if we can make it.
Shane, do you have anything before I continue to just go off?
No, I mean, soccer hasn't been one sport that I've really kind of dived into, just because it seems like every other year there's a new league popping up. But I do have one question. What's your take on the whole one soccer thing? You know, as a casual fan, one soccer kind of looks like a deterrent because, you know, paying to watch a game every once in a while doesn't seem beneficial. But, you know, as a hardcore fan, you know, it must be one of like the better things they've come out with.
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation because the reason One Soccer appeared was because the TSNs and the Sportsnet just weren't covering the games. Because, I mean, before TSN Sportsnet had the rights, but they didn't show any games. No one even knew about them.
Yeah.
And it was actually worse because no one could watch anything. So at least now there's a place for Canada for all your soccer. So they have also the Canadian Premier League. They have the Canada games, both men and women, the Gold Cup. They also show the French League with Jonathan David. So, yes, for casual fans, it isn't good. But we need someone to step up to get the rights. That's the problem. No one wanted to do it except One Soccer. I don't know why CBC isn't doing it. I don't care about your Little House on the Prairie show. Show my soccer game, please. But they don't want to do it. TSN doesn't want to do it. Sportsnet doesn't want to do it. So we're left with One Soccer, which casual fans, I agree, it's horrible. There's no other way to put it. It's not a good way to grow the game, but right now it's the only option. Because if it wasn't for One Soccer, no one's going to cover this at all.
And I think this is an opportunity as well where maybe now TSN, CBC see that this is, you know, if Canada can get to this level consistently, they might have to go in and get it. Because I kind of expect, you know, when our hockey teams go to big tournaments, you know, we care. When our baseball team goes to the World Baseball Classic, all of a sudden everybody's baseball fans.
Exactly.
When our women's national team is competing in the World Cup, people care. So I kind of expect to see packed houses at BMO Field if we can have packed houses for these games. So I think this might be the kind of turning point where TSN go, you know, have that aha moment where they're like, okay, we need to go outbid One Soccer.
Oh yeah, it's already starting. I mean, when we qualify for this final round, all of a sudden the media is all talking about it everywhere. Like TSN's posting graphics, Sportsnet's posting graphics, and I read in the comment section, and a lot of people know what's going on. So it's not like people are left in the dark. Like they know what's going on. It's literally just the media refuses to talk about it. They don't want to, which needs to change. And I think it will as Canada continues to have success. Canada is playing in the Gold Cup and starting in July, which is going to be on One Soccer, unfortunately, for you casual fans. But if Canada goes far in that tournament, that's going to be a lot of hype leading into September. Right now, like you said, TSN Sport, and they got to start thinking, okay, well, what we're going to do now, right?
And correct me if I'm wrong, too, but Atletico, I believe, has a deal where if you buy season tickets, you also get One Soccer. And do you still get the jersey when you do that?
So for Atletico Ottawa, if you buy season tickets, you will get free One Soccer subscription. For the jersey, you're going to get a discount price. I think it's like 30% off what I paid. So pretty good deal.
Are the jerseys made super small?
Yes. So I am a large, and I had to go 2 sizes up. So I'm a double XL.
Screw that.
It's because it's made in Europe, so it's really bad. Like this is double XL when I'm really large. So
no, screw that. No,
Shane, we'll have a couple of 8XLs.
Nope.
Yeah, it's rough, but there's other merchandise. You can get scarves, you can get masks, different ways to show your support for the team.
I mean, I've been talking about getting Atletico tickets for quite a while, so unless you have anything else about the Canadian men's national team, Shane, we will kind of pivot to the CPL, I guess. I
got nothing.
Okay. So, CPL, kind of the first thing I want to know, because much like the men's national team, it's almost, I find it's if you want information, you have to go looking for it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And not everybody does. So, in terms of who you're expecting to be good this year, who you're, not expecting to be good, how do you think things shake down?
So the CPL is 2 years old. This will be the 3rd season, and Forge FC, which is located in Hamilton, has won the CPL title both times. So we only had one winner, but this offseason Cavalry, which is in Calgary, has reloaded. They've signed some big players. They actually stole a player from Forge. So Cavalry will be making a big push. Valor, which is in Winnipeg, has been rebuilding a little bit, so they can be a little dark horse. Halifax, I think they're going to decrease a little bit. The Island Games wasn't a true tale because Island Games was only a limited amount of games played.
Yeah.
The first season, Halifax came dead last, so I think they're going to be around middle of the pack. Edmonton, no, they're not going to do anything. They never do. They came dead last in the tournament. They're a rival of Ottawa because of the Ottawa Fury NASL days, but they're not good.
Rest
they
in
don't
peace,
worry
Ottawa
me.
Fury.
Yeah, by Atletico Ottawa, this team is looking very, very scary. Our depth up front, the players we have signed, one of the best attacking depth in the whole league. I mean, the amount of different players we can use, it's kind of a nightmare to try to pick a formation, but that's what the coach should do. So Atletico Ottawa, I see them, pushing for top 3, and I think right now they're talking about whether to make playoffs, the top 3 teams or the top 4 teams. So I think Ottawa will be in the playoffs by the end of the season.
How much do you think Ottawa having really good players comes down to the fact that people want to sign with a team that has the Atletico name tag with it?
Oh, 100%. A lot of it is. I mean, they just spent a month in Spain training while everyone else here was sitting in quarantine on their butts, right? So imagine going to Atletico Madrid, training with the facilities, all the doctors, the meals, the massages, everything. Like, that's what you want as a soccer player, right? And that's a big thing. You're playing with smart coaches. You're bonding as a team. And we already have some academy players coming into the roster. So you're playing with absolute great players. They played some friendlies against Spanish teams there. So it's a great experience as a professional soccer player from Canada. And it's for sure a big selling point for this team.
Do you think it's option number 1 for not everybody, of course, because some people are going to go different routes, but would guys take the Atletico name tag over potentially an increased role somewhere else?
I think they will. I mean, because you never know who's watching, right? You start playing well in Atletico Ottawa, and guess what, man? The big dads, Atletico Madrid, are looking at you and say, hey, maybe we can bring you to Europe for, one of the B teams or C teams, which is, I mean, I'm sorry, it is better than the best league in Canada. It's just how it is. But I think players are slowly going to start choosing this just to see how it is, the experience, right? It's the experience of a lifetime.
Yeah. You, obviously, Ottawa guy, Atletico fan. Who do we hate?
Who do we hate?
Yeah.
See, that's hard. So we have Edmonton, obviously, from the Fury days. So we got to hate them as rivals. Me personally, last year, the Fury, when Halifax came to Ottawa to play, there was a lot of beef there. It was basically us versus the whole league. So Halifax, there is some beef. But again, this is our second season only. We actually haven't even seen them play at home once. So honestly, I just let rivalries come naturally. But if you want like someone to hate, Edmonton is the easy answer.
And I do remember that Halifax day. That was the only day I've ever sat in the supporter section. It might be the only day I ever do it. But yeah, I mean, other than maybe the Toronto FC day where they almost burned the stadium down.
Yeah, that was also another interesting day. But about the supporters section, it is going back to Section W, so it's going to be back on the south side, and it's going to be revitalized. It's going to be huge this year. Well, obviously not this year with COVID, but it's whatever you saw with the Fury, it's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be completely new. It's going to be a great atmosphere. So if you can, head down to some games for sure.
In terms of what the CPL and especially soccer in Ottawa can become, we've seen the Red Blacks kind of capture the hearts of people. They had that, I think, 18 to 20 game sellout streak. The Fury weren't exactly able to do that. How do you expect, not necessarily just attendance figures, because I think, obviously COVID's going to play a role in that, but if we were to have full stadiums this year and, COVID didn't exist, how do you think it would look compared to the Fury?
I think it's going to be a sellout every day, like every game. I think the Southside Lower Bowl is going to be completely sold out. The hype around this team is something I've never seen before. People who just, didn't care about the Fury are now tuning in. I don't blame them. It's Atletico Ottawa, right? Owned by Atletico Madrid. That is a key factor. It's going to draw a lot of casual fans in. But it's a process, right? The team was founded in the worst time ever. And even now we can't have a full capacity stadium. So it's going to take a time. But I think it's going to catch on really fast, and people are going to start paying attention to this team in the city. And I already see it happening.
I haven't paid super close attention to the CPL so far, but have you seen the interest in the league grow as a whole, especially as they're adding franchises like Atletico?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they just recently added Saskatchewan, which will be coming, I think, in 2023 in Saskatoon, I think. So it's growing. A lot of clubs around Canada now want in because, hey, like it's the top flight in Canada. And it's a process, right? I mean, the first year was good for CPL. It grew a lot. Second year was a bubble tournament. And this third year, it's half bubble, half in leagues, half like normal. So it's going to take a while. But slowly the league is growing, especially as Canada soccer and the men's team starts being like more successful. A lot more casuals are going to start tuning in to see what is Canada doing domestically. Obviously, we know about Toronto FC, Montreal, Vancouver. But other than that, there's cities around Hamilton. Hamilton fans, even though we hate them, they support their team. They come out to support the team. Same with Saskatchewan. So same with Halifax. Halifax is selling out their games over and over. So all these cities that don't really have big professional teams, they're going to start getting teams, and it's going to keep growing the league. And I'm sorry, soccer is the fastest growing sport in Canada. I don't blame you. Look at all the immigrants coming in, raising their kids. Soccer is what they love. So it's great to have finally a league where you go from university, and that's usually where your career ends. But now you have a chance, like, hey, I can play professional in my own country, right? There's no a jump from university to professional, something I didn't have growing up. Growing up was, all right, when I'm done competitive soccer, I can go to university, but after that, it's over. But now kids are growing up, like, hey, we go to university, we get scouted, we can play for a Canadian Premier League team. So that's going to keep growing the league.
Yeah. I kind of want to wrap both topics that we've talked about into kind of the same little thing here.
Yeah.
How much do you think having your own local league can help develop the Canadian soccer program?
Oh, it's going to hugely impact it because now all the clubs in Ottawa are directly affiliated with Letico Ottawa, right? So they're going to keep getting all the support and special training, and there's a direct path now. Like I said, everyone has it. When you're growing up, you play competitive. Your target now, instead of like, hey, like I got to somehow make it into the MLS or somehow like take a wild shot at Europe. Now it's like, hey, it's something here I can reach. Once I do well in university, I can reach this. I've seen people around me do it. And it's going to keep motivating players to stay in soccer and to keep working on it, which is going to keep growing talent like Jonathan David. Jonathan David started with the Gloucester Dragons. For those who don't know that, that's recreational soccer in Ottawa. Then he moved up to Gloucester Hornets, and now he's playing in France. He just won the league ahead of PSG. He's scoring against PSG, Marseille, like huge soccer clubs, all from Ottawa. And now kids watching that, they're going to believe they can do that too. So it's going to be huge for developing these kids.
And, I mean, obviously, to go hand in hand with that, once you start developing the talent, then the big transfer budgets come in.
Exactly.
And I'm not a diehard soccer fan. I don't exactly know how, I know that large sums of money for a player means that you can put more money into the younger players. And then things start to get moving a little bit, and then you can start to develop more and more talent.
Exactly, yeah. I forgot the player name, but after the first season of CPL, one of the players, I think the top player in the CPL, was sold to a Belgian side. And that team got a lot of money. It's the record transfer. So right now, the Canadian Premier League, if we can keep developing players and selling them off, it's going to keep getting attention and going to keep growing this league. So I'm very happy about this league. I think it's going to stay. And Letico Ottawa is here to stay, and they're going to be the newest big team in Ottawa for sure.
I mean, do you think it's going to be a little bit of a hard sell to convince, soccer fans to maybe casual soccer fans to want to go to a CPL game rather than a Toronto FC or a Vancouver Whitecaps game?
No, because you have three teams. You have either Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto. Let's say you live in Ottawa or Halifax, Hamilton, right? Yes, you can cheer for that city, but they're not really your city, right? Like I cheer for Toronto FC when we won the MLS, but they're not my city. I don't feel that like connection, right? Ottawa, that's your home city. That's what you're repping, right? Or other places in Winnipeg, right? Soccer fans there who, if you're in Winnipeg, what, you're going to cheer for Vancouver, right? Like a couple of provinces down? No. So when you have a team in your city, you're going to want to watch it. And when you're playing against other Canadian teams, Canadians, we love playing against each other, right? So it's honestly everything you need to grow a league.
Yeah. And do they still play against each other in CONCACAF, is it?
Yeah, so the Canadian Championship, where obviously Canadian teams can play against MLS teams, that is kind of iffy now thanks to COVID. We still need to play the final from like last season, Forge versus TFC. That hasn't been played yet, so I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I hope it's going to incorporate the League One team. So Ontario, there's League One, like the OSUs they play. I hope it's going to start there and then keep growing up to professionals like they do in England, right? In England, it goes down to like the lowest division possible. They keep playing and then eventually gets to the professional level.
Don't they let Sunday League teams play in that?
Yeah, one? some they do. So it's like I hope we have that here in Canada. That'll be pretty cool to see, right? Like, one day Atletico Aldo versus OSU, right? For the rights to play TFC, but it's gonna take a while.
Even though impossible, no, it's never gonna happen. But could you imagine a Sunday League team getting on the field against,
right?
Anybody that's a professional?
Well, that's the beauty of soccer, right? Anything can happen. It's just one game. Yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing TFC and Vancouver, Montreal at TD Place. Hopefully, they don't burn the stadium this time.
Well, or hopefully, we don't get accused of shooting. I can't remember what they accused us of shooting, like bear repellent at them or something. That was the most ridiculous.
I mean, they're banned from any stadium now, so good on them, clowns.
Yeah. So before we let you go, Euros are still going on.
Yes, sir.
And I believe group play wraps up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Who do you think is going all the way?
Well, my heart wants to cheer for Slovakia, but Belgium is looking extremely scary. France, not impressing enough for me. Same with Portugal and Germany. Those were supposed to be the favorites. England, I don't even want to talk about England. They're frauds. Their manager is a gym coach. He's not. I'm telling you, Shane could stand there and manage that team. It'll be the exact same result. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. There's no tactics involved. But Belgium, they're scary. I don't know what Lukaku has been doing. Maybe it's a training with Thierry Henry, but he is a goal-scoring machine now, and they just decimated that group. And I see them winning the whole thing.
Look, Chris Milo has just joined us, and I'm also Italian, so just say Italy.
Italy's going to make the final. I forgot about Italy-Belgium final somehow, or they're going to meet each other. But, yeah, it's either Belgium or Italy. Italy, I will say, though, they did have an easy group. But congratulations to them. They're the first team to ever win both 3 games without letting a goal in. But I want to see them against a little bit tougher competition first.
Hey, Eddie, Italy's just going to win. I haven't really watched much of this tournament, but I just know, being Italian, that we're going to win.
Yeah, okay. For sure. I'll buy you pizza if you guys win.
Hey, I mean, it better be an Italian pizza.
It'll be Italian pizza. No
okay, excellent. All right, thank you very much, Eddie. It was absolutely phenomenal to get someone on here that knows a little bit about soccer, because Shane and I most certainly don't.
One day.
Hey,
yeah.
Well, we'll see you at one of the games.
Yeah, for sure. All right, take care, guys.
Have a good one.
Thanks. All right, well, that was fun. I mean, as someone who's been like a casual soccer fan my entire life, being able to sit down and talk to someone who's so versed in the soccer community, fantastic.
Absolutely. But we will switch gears very, very quickly here. We've kind of double stacked our guests tonight, so we will add Chris Milo in. Chris, welcome to the show. How are you?
How you doing, boys?
We're all right. We're hanging in there. Can't complain too much.
Can you hear me good? I don't have headphones or whatnot.
Yep, we're all good.
Beauty.
All right, so let's start things off. You are decked out in Habs gear right now. How are you feeling tonight?
I feel good.
Yeah?
I feel good. Yeah, I mean, it's Game 5. How can you not feel good, right? We're back in Vegas. Time to have a bit of fun.
You feeling confident about how the game's going to go tonight, or are you kind of?
I am. I said they'd win in 6, so hopefully, hopefully I'm accurate here.
Look, I'm on board of if they win tonight, they win the series. I'm not necessarily on board of Vegas wins tonight.
Agree. No, I agree. I think that if Montreal wins this, they'll close out on Thursday. If Vegas wins, I think Montreal will also win at home, and we'll decide it in 7 on Saturday. So I guess we'll see what happens. But the boys are playing well, and I don't think they're too down. It doesn't seem as with the result they had the other night. So yeah, I mean, how can you not feel confident? Your team is only 2 games away from the final, right? So it's pretty exciting times in Montreal.
Yeah. And I mean, they've looked really good for the most part. I mean, I don't think they deserve to lose Game 4. If maybe Chris Lee would have given us a couple of goals, they may have done a little bit more damage. But,
yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, obviously. But it's if you're going to call it both ways, right? And it's just been atrocious. Not only against us, even things that we've done to Vegas or in other series. It's just been throughout the playoffs. It seems. The other night, I guess Barzal, I think was it last night that he got a 5 in a game. So, and I think he got fined $5,000. So hopefully that kind of translates into tonight. And I kind of have a feeling we're gonna see quite a few power plays going the Habs' way tonight.
Yeah, I hope so, being a Habs fan. But you played professional football, not professional hockey, but you also come from a league that is notorious amongst fans for having terrible officiating. From your perspective,
I won't go into there. I love our officials in the CFL. They were great guys that I had a chance to kind of grow up with, in the sense because a lot of them came through the university ranks and moved their way up, or whether it was in the CJFL when I played junior. So, I think they do a great job, and what I would like to see is a lot more younger folks kind of embarking in that career path, I guess, if you will. And it would just bring, I think, another perspective to sports in general, but especially professional sports. I think pro sports can use that younger vibe and maybe a newer mentality as well.
And I know firsthand that it's exceptionally difficult, but when there is a missed call, something that's pretty obvious, what does that do to a team, a sideline, a bench, whatever it may be?
Well, I guess it just really depends what kind of team you have. I guess I've been a part of some that would crumble and some that were successful through it. So it really depends. It really depends how your season's going, how your locker room is, how tight knit the boys are, and that's where I kind of mentioned where I don't think the Habs were all too phased as far as what I heard from them today in their press conferences. It was kind of just business as usual. Even last night, or 2 nights ago, when Coach Richardson was speaking, it was just kind of like, hey, we're cool, we're good here. We're just we're on to game 5, like Belichick would say. So, there's things you can control, there's things you can't. They've been saying it all series and pretty much all playoffs. So, whether it's hockey, football, baseball, you name it. There's things you can control, there's things you can't. So it's I think that if you worry about those things that you can control, things are going to go your way more often than not.
Yeah. Just to kind of continue on the hockey to football trend. I played goalie when I was growing up, and from talking to guys like Lewis Ward, the kicking and goaltending headspace are pretty similar. How impressed are you with Carey Price, basically throughout his entire career, just keeping his headspace?
Yeah, Carey is the cream of the cream, and he's been proving that the last throughout the playoffs and through the last 14 years that he's been a member of this organization, and even prior to that. He's won at every level, whether it's juniors, whether it's World Juniors, whether it's AHL, Olympics, you name it. He's done it, and the only thing that's missing is hopefully only 6 games away, and we hopefully have the chance to do that. And I had a chance to speak about kind of what was going on with him in early, I guess, end of February, beginning of March. I had a chance to speak on RDS regarding his situation, and it just kind of looked like he just needed a break, just kind of needed some time away. He just didn't seem like he was in a good mental space. And obviously I'm not with him every day, and I just kind of see and read, what everybody else sees and reads. But I guess just having maybe been in that situation, and been in his shoes, I can kind of relate to it a bit more, and I can see the signs that would kind of lead to that, I guess, process of saying, hey, I need some time away. I need, kind of maybe what Jonathan Drouin is doing right now. And, it's good that he did get that time. And what I said was, he's going to come back, and he's going to be the best of the best. And that's what's happening. So I'm kind of happy that prediction kind of came true. So hopefully he keeps it up. And I don't want to jinx nothing, but when he let in that goal the other night, the tying goal, I texted my buddy Matt. We kind of we text throughout the games, and we're just kind of going off on on the refs or whatnot, or just trying to support the Habs as best we can. And as soon as that goal went in, I said, Matt, I said, here's my bold prediction for the rest of the series. I said, Price goes back-to-back shutouts, and they close it out.
Honestly, I could see it. Carey is that kind of guy. He has the absolute ability to make a difference in the series, and he's done it twice. So
he has, and you can just see it. Just when the playoffs first started, it was kind of, he let in that goal in practice, and he just went nuts, and I just said, okay, well, he's back, and that's the type of goal that would give that type of reaction. But he's professional enough and calm enough to do it behind the scenes, but we all know what he was thinking at that point.
Marc-Andre Fleury made the gaffe of the century, game 3, and the Habs, of course, end up winning that game. I don't know an exact scenario that you've been in where you may have missed, a game-tying field goal or a game-winning field goal, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
How difficult is it to rebound from that kind of stuff if you were to be back in the net tonight?
I mean, Marc-Andre's been through it all. I think, he's one of the best, and he'll go down as one of the best ever. So I think that he's mentally strong enough to get through it. It is what it is. He moved on, things like that happened to him, I guess, in the World Junior game in the final. He moved on. He's got 3 cup rings. He's, like I said, he's one of the best. And, if he plays tonight, which it looks like he is, I'm counting on him to, to have a really solid game and to prove his doubters wrong. That's the type of person that he is. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game tonight, but again, I could be wrong. But I guess I'm expecting a big goalie battle tonight for sure.
Shane, you got anything hockey related before we hop into some football?
Yeah, I mean, so maybe it's different as someone who grew up a Sens fan, but also just loved watching hockey. Is there, as someone who's been played professional sports and being a fan watching this, is there anyone that you want to see win a cup that isn't in Montreal?
You're saying that basically how badly do we want to see a cup in Montreal, or
no? How many? Is there anyone on the other 3 teams that you want to see win a cup? Is there any bit of time where you?
As far as the last 4, you're saying, okay? So
if you ever watched,
other than Montreal.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, I'd like to see the Islanders kind of pull it off if they can. I got JG Pajot that's a bud, and I'm trying to support him as much as I can, and he's Mr. Playoffs, and he's proving that again this year. So if there's one other team that I'd like to see win it, it would be them. Tampa won it last year. Vegas is only 4 years old, so they're still a baby. So I'm just kind of the 2 older teams, I think, need a crack at it.
Yeah. I've never hated the Vegas Golden Knights, but this series has made me realize that I absolutely hate the Vegas Golden Knights. So it's been interesting.
Definitely. And, I think we'll have another, hopefully just 2 more, but we'll see.
Yeah. I'm sure you've told this story a million times by now, but I believe that you're tied for the record for the longest punt in professional football. And I believe it was 108 yards?
108, yeah. I asked them to give me another extra half yard or something, but they wouldn't do it.
Run us through that punt, how that happened, how you felt after that happened.
Well, I kind of felt bad, to be honest, because I didn't want to do that. And Coach gave me a look afterwards, and I said, well, it is what it is. And I did what you asked me to. It just kept rolling forever. So I couldn't control that part. But we were on the left hash. We had a good crosswind kind of behind, and had good old Mosaic. And Coach just said, well, listen, we're going to go across the field here and take advantage of the wind and just see if you can put it over his head. And I said, okay, well, no problem. I'll do my best. And sure enough, it went I think 10, 15 yards over his head, and just kept rolling to Manitoba at that point. So, but yeah, no, it was I guess I didn't know at that point that it was a record, or I tied a record, or anything like that. We had one of our PR people kind of came up to me and said, hey, you just tied a record from like 1974 or something. And I said, really? You know, like I had absolutely no clue, but that's kind of cool to have your name etched in there, I guess, for a little while.
One of the things that I remember from your time with the Red Blacks pretty well is every time we went to a trip in Montreal, you know, all the fans would come. Did you ever hear the Money Milo chants that would ring out every single time you took the field?
Yeah, those are. I did hear those, and obviously, you know, the support that I've had from fans along the way has been tremendous, and you know, a huge thank you to everyone who has supported me throughout. And no, you definitely hear those a lot more than you hear the boos. I tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to talk a little bit on the Red Blacks topic a little bit more. Some fantastic kickers have come through the doors there, yourself included. Brett Maher was there for a little while. Of course, now Lewis Ward with, I think, the funniest and the most impressive football streak of 69 consecutive field goals. Yeah. And, you know, Richie Leone is no slouch himself. Do you ever, like, just kind of think about, you know, how good that they have been at recruiting kickers and, you know, you being one of them?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's sometimes it just kind of falls in your lap, I guess, in the sense we're in the Lewis situation. So they, you know, he had a great university career, and he's an Ottawa boy, and you know, he had a chance to demonstrate what he could do, and you know, he's proven himself to be one of the best in the league, and with that record, I don't think anyone's going to touch that. So that's something he can be extremely proud of, and you know, I'm expecting him to have another great season this year. And actually, we were in touch. I guess it was just a few weeks back, actually, just kind of wondering if they were actually going to have a season or not. So you know, we're happy that that's been approved, and you know, I guess only a few weeks away now we'll get to see the boys back on the field and get going. So, but no, definitely no slouch kickers have been through there, and we're proud of that, and you know, I'm happy that I guess can progress through me, and who knows, maybe someone will come through and be even better than Lewis is, which I have a hard time seeing, but I guess we'll see.
Adam Vinatieri in his prime could walk through there, and I'm not sure the Red Blacks would cut Lewis.
Yeah, well, the way he's kicking, I wouldn't either. So, no, very, very impressive, and he's a great kid. So it's nice to see great things happen to great people.
Yeah. You yourself, veteran of the CFL kicking game, I mean, it's a cutthroat environment. You miss a couple kicks in a row and you're gone just like that. Do guys still reach out to you looking for advice, tips, whatever it may be?
Not pro guys. You know, I think everybody has their people that they turn to. I have been involved with some younger guys in Quebec City, and with Le Collège Notre-Dame de Foix, where I coach the kickers there, and we have some up and comers. So, but I've mostly young kids or people that are trying to perfect their craft. But you know, I mean, like I mentioned to Lewis a few weeks back, I said, listen, you need me, I'm always around. If you have any questions or anything that you, I don't know, they're just hesitating on, or need maybe a different year on, or a different voice on, then I'm always there. So they know I'm available. They know how to reach me. So it's if I can lend a hand, then great. But I think that they're in they're in good hands doing what they're doing right now. But I'm always available if need be.
Shane, before I keep going again, you haven't talked much this episode, so I'll give you the floor a little bit.
Hey, it's fine. You've just been rolling with it. I mean, hey, I'm not going to complain. Okay, so, you know, CFL season is 4 weeks away from training camp, and there's been a slew of retirements the last, couple of days.
Yeah.
Should fans be worried about that, or is that just kind of something that we all should have just expected, but heading into a shortened season?
Yeah, that's a good question. Should fans expect it? I think that, maybe more than they think. A lot of guys really had to fend for their families and really had to find ways to make ends meet and to pay off the bills at the end of the month. And, they've had over, I guess almost 2 years now to do that and to figure out how to live life without football. So I'm not sure if you guys saw, but there was Derek Dennis today that mentioned that he was just stepping back, and just because football wasn't enough to provide. And it's hard to argue that, right? Family first, and he's doing what's best for him and his family, and it's it's hard to say, well, hey, you're selfish in this and that. Well, he's not selfish. If he plays football, he's selfish towards the people that count on him the most. So I think that you might see a lot of that. I know JP Bolduc in Ottawa also called it a day, and that's sad to see, because he was a tremendous player, growing into a tremendous player and a staple on special teams throughout the league, and even throughout the community. He's done such an amazing things, whether it was here in Quebec or in Ottawa and Gatineau. So you might see a few more guys just kind of saying, hey, it's really not worth it for me financially, and we're gonna step. But like, I think Dennis didn't retire officially, but it was just kind of taking a step back, and hopefully he'll be back in 2022. But yeah, you never know. Again, this pandemic really turned this world upside down, and the CFL really got hit hard. I'm hoping that they can really bounce back, and we'll take advantage of the 14 plus games we'll see this year, and we'll see what happens next year. If they're maybe find a way to really get some more financial backing, or do things maybe a different way with different people. I guess we'll see, but it would be a shame to lose this league, because it's been a staple throughout this country for over 100 years, and we need it to keep going for 100 more.
Absolutely. I mentioned to Shane before we started that I'm a little bit worried about the quality of play when we do come back. Not necessarily just because we've been off, but I mean, if we do have a lot of good players retiring or stepping aside, but should we be worried about that?
It might be expected at the beginning. Maybe the first couple of weeks they might use those first weeks as kind of exhibition games, or however you want to call it. Obviously, they'll count in the standings, but from my understanding, I think 8 of the 9 teams are making the playoffs anyways. So they might just kind of ease their way into it. It's going to take some time, obviously, for people to get clicking and to just get back into game shape. That you can't just press a button and say, "Hey, we're ready to go." So that's why you have camp. So it's going to be I guess curious to see how things kind of roll out. But I think maybe that first week, maybe the first couple of weeks, but then after that, I think they'll get back into I guess mid-season form, if you will. And the boys have been waiting a long time for this, so everybody will be excited to put out their best, and hopefully give us some a really great show this fall.
We have a comment on Twitter from Matt Pro, and I think everybody kind of has the same sentiment. Fantastic kicker in your time. Also, good person. Like I enjoyed seeing you on the sidelines. You always seem to be in a pretty good mood from the outside looking in. So I don't know. It just looked like you guys had lots of fun down there, and I really loved it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, whenever you get a chance to to play a sport, to earn a living, and to do it in front of X amount of thousand fans, and it's great. It's a lifelong dream that I was able to live for 7 years, and you realize, I guess a few years after, you take a step back, and you realize how lucky you were to be, I guess, a part of that 1% of the population of athletes that get to play pro sports. And but I had a great run. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. It was made some great friendships throughout, and some fantastic memories. And yeah, it's like I said, hopefully we'll be able to see these young men kind of take this league to a new level for many years to come.
Do you ever miss it?
Yeah, definitely. You miss the lifestyle. You miss kind of the just going out, practicing, goofing around for 3-4 hours, just playing a game really with your best friends. And you miss that part. You miss kind of the adrenaline rush of before the game or before the kick, or in a Grey Cup game, not knowing what's going to happen. And so you miss I guess all that. But at the end of the day, you also enjoy, I guess, the more family time, and that, I guess, second portion of your life, really. You can take advantage of that. With my little girl now, she's starting school in the fall, so it's just it's been great to be there for her the last few years on a more everyday basis, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess throughout your career you got the 2 rings as well, so those never hurt.
No, definitely, and did it with some great teams and some great people. So it's memories that'll last forever.
Yeah, Shane, I don't think I have much more to ask. So the floor is yours again.
Announced today is, I think, Bill 218, making single game betting legal in Canada. Everyone's expecting it to be this new revenue stream for the CFL. Are you expecting it to take off the way everyone else is, or are you more kind of on the conservative side of it?
Well, I mean, I'm hoping it takes off the way people expect it to. That's for sure. But I think that it'll be more towards, I guess, maybe towards hockey or that those types of basketball. Maybe it'll be heavily involved. Baseball maybe a bit less, but hopefully it does affect the CFL in a positive way, and we can generate some funds by those means, and any little bit helps. Any little bit helps, and this league can use whatever comes its way, and hopefully at that point is to use that money wisely, and not just for certain things that that I guess we'll leave behind the scenes, but it's they got to do things the right way. They got to find the right people. They got to sit down and just really make the smartest decisions in order to make this league prosperous and to make it what it once was.
Yeah. That's it from you, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall we'll have you back on. Hopefully have you back on when the season starts, and we can really dive into what the season could look like.
Sure, yeah, that'd be great for sure. It's been fun. Thank you so much for having me, and hopefully we'll be able to chat in the next couple of months.
Or when the Habs win the cup, one of the two.
One of the two. If that's the case, we'll do a live stream from St. Catharines.
Yeah,
I won't be part of that. I'm gonna have to drop that.
My daughter wants to say hello.
Hello.
Say hi. All right, boys. Thank you so much. Go Habs, go.
Go Habs, go. Go Italy, go. And enjoy the game tonight, and try not to stress out too much.
I won't. I'll be good. Enjoy it, you guys, as well.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Chris.
Ciao.
Oh, man. Hey, he's a great guy. I mean, I've had my disagreements with him on Twitter, not going to lie. But nothing personal. It's just, difference of opinion.
Yep. And you know what? I love Chris. The back when he was kicking for Ottawa, the Money Milo thing was fantastic. Every time he went up there, you were pretty confident that he was going to knock it through the posts. He did that more often than not. Could punt as well. He was the kicker as well when I believe he got hurt before the playoffs, and then Ray Early had to take over, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So he got a ring out of that. But let me tell you, Shane, were we ever stressed out about what would happen if Ray Early had to kick a field goal in that game?
Man, imagine if Lewis Ward gets hurt and
No. Well, okay, here's the thing though. When Chris Milo was kicking for the Red Blacks, he was the kicker and the punter. So you're kind of screwed if somebody ever gets hurt when they're doing that. But, thankfully now, Richie Leone's pretty solid at place kicking as well. I think I'd be more concerned about Lewis Ward punting. And Jose Maltos.
Yeah, that's it. Because he can do both.
He can do both as well. And, he's played in the CFL before him.
Yeah.
And also in the XFL, but...
Yeah, no, he's... he can do both, so... I'm not overly upset. I'm not overly worried about the Ottawa kicking situation.
Neither am I. I think that's one of the more stable ones in the league. Even now, I think Boris Beatty's in Toronto, right?
Yeah, Boris Beatty's in Toronto. I think
Hyrulalu. Yeah, I think he's with the Rams now, is he not?
Yeah, it's the other one. Medlock is my understanding. It's Winnipeg or nowhere for Medlock.
I think he's retired as well, is he not?
I haven't heard anything. He
or
might
that
be.
I think I've seen a report that said he will not return to Winnipeg. So, I mean, I think the kicking situation, like, we got some great kickers in the CFL. Boris Beatty, I don't think he's necessarily the most accurate guy in the world, but holy crap, he can bomb it. He can kick from a long way.
I feel like he's one of those guys that, like, the further away it is, the more accurate he is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, just looking at some of the guys that we've had too, like in Ottawa, man, like we've been absolutely spoiled with our kickers, except for some years. I mean, some years that we've had some
games we've had some really questionable kicking.
Yeah, but I mean, when we've had Brett Maher, Chris Milo, Richie Leone, Lewis Ward, you've been pretty confident. Other than those guys, though, holy crap, they've had some guys, especially in 2015, where you're like, what is going on? Was it 2015? Where we had like 4 different kickers?
I think so. Because, like, I think, Mayer got hurt, and then
it may have been 2014. You're right.
I think Mayer got hurt because he ended up in Hamilton after he was with Ottawa.
Yeah.
Because he got cut by Ottawa because he kept getting hurt.
Yeah.
And that's when we bring it. Like, I think that's 2016 is when we brought in Milo.
Yeah.
And then Milo left, and then we brought in Ward ahead of the 18 season.
I gotta look this up because we've had some absolutely wild. Also, I want to bring up the
Siobhan Walker.
Oh man, okay. You know what? Funny story. I still have a Siobhan Walker Red Blacks designed toque somewhere, and that toque was phenomenal.
His career just dropped.
Yeah,
his career was looking on the up and up, and then he got hurt, and then his career just went downhill.
Yeah, I also want to bring up this report from. I literally can't find it anywhere else other than Jordan's Lamozlik. And you know what? I trust this kid so much that I'm going to take this as absolute fact.
I'll check
signed. But he says that they've signed Jordan Smallwood, Michael Klukas, and Kendrick Rogers. And I believe Jordan Smallwood was having a really, really good season with the XFL. I think he was somewhere through 5 games. He had actually, let me check that because I don't want to say something that's not true. Jordan Smallwood. Believe he was having like a crazy good start to the season with the Los Angeles Wildcats, which is ridiculous because that should never be a football game.
Apparently Bahar's back in Ottawa.
Is he?
Yeah, so I'm literally looking at the transactions, and it looks like Corey Tyndall and Malcolm Williams were transferred to the retired list.
Yep.
Justin Hobbs and Darrell Williams were released.
Okay.
Kendrick Rogers, Jordan Smallwood, Michael Klukas.
So Smallwood had 236 yards with 18 receptions, but in the last 2 games in the XFL, he had 75 yards and 86 yards respectively. He also scored 1 touchdown in the season, but he looked like he was having a pretty solid start to the year. Yeah.
So those 3 were added.
Also, didn't Michael Klukas run a 4.340 or something like that?
I think so, yeah. And then today, Bahar is back.
Awesome.
So maybe wait until, again, this is all on the CFL transactions page. But yeah, so that's news. If Bahar's back, I'm excited.
Yeah, you know what? That's fantastic because Nate Bahar is, I said that he could possibly be Ottawa's Brad Sinopoli replacement because, I mean, Canadian. I think he has a lot of the same physical traits that Sinopoli does, but he just didn't really get that much of a chance to catch the football last year, or in 2019, I guess. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think that Michael Klukas signing, I think that one's going to fly a little under the radar, but might end up being one that, because Klukas is Canadian as well, right?
Yeah, so, University of Calgary.
Yeah, I'm if that is in fact true, and again, Jordan said it, so I'm very confident that it's true.
And I mean, it's on the transactions page on the CFL, so I'm assuming that it's true.
Yeah, but that is a very good signing. I love that one. And I mean, especially because you've lost Jalen Saunders, a speed threat. So can Kaluka step in and do that right away? I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see on that. But, man, to add somebody who ran a 4.36 40, that's huge.
If it's announced tomorrow that Nate Bahar and Klukas have signed with Ottawa, like our receiving core has actually gone up.
And they've left the door open for Jalen Saunders as well. So where that goes, I don't know. I think the Smallwood signing, that's someone that I'm going to be wanting to watch as well. Hopefully, you know what? Hopefully we can get into training camp. I don't know if that'll happen, but I would like to be able to, even if we just stand behind the fence there in that public area, maybe we get to watch that way. That's something you and me can figure out. But you know what, Shane? We got to find a way.
Yeah, maybe you can use your teacher as help.
Chris, maybe if you're listening, I didn't say it. Shane did.
Hey, maybe he can help you out.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it.
But, before we head off, because we have hit the hour mark, so we will be wrapping up, Thursday night, 7 o'clock on CBC Sports and on CBC Sports and on CEBL Plus, you can catch the Ottawa Blackjacks host the Niagara River Lions at 7 o'clock. It's a CEBL Season 3 tip-off. Ottawa's playing its first game in Ottawa, their inaugural game in Ottawa. Unfortunately, they won't be in front of fans.
Yeah, because
Doug Ford can't answer
the government ignored them.
They should have just ignored. They just straight up ignored their request.
That's unbelievable.
So, catch it. I'll post the links. We'll post the links on our Twitter and whatnot. But make sure it's CBL Plus, free to sign up. You get to watch all the games if you don't have CBC Gem. But yeah, Canadian basketball starts up on the 24th. The CPL starts up on the 26th. Players I expect are supposed to be reporting in the next week or so. They should be arriving to their respective cities to quarantine. Yep. I think we're 3 weeks out of training camp. Sports are coming back, people.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Shane? Not only do we have the Habs and Golden Knights at 9 o'clock tonight, NBA Draft Lottery starts now.
And the Raptors are in it.
7% chance to take home number one. I think they have like a 60-something% chance to drop in the lottery, though, which is so stupid. That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's hope that 7% hits and Cade Cunningham is a Toronto Raptor.
I haven't even looked at possible.
Basically, it's the Raptors, Timberwolves, and then all 107 of OKC's picks.
Yeah, basically. But, basketball's around the corner. We playoff hockey. U Sports is back. They announced sometime last week that the Vanier Cup will be held, I think, December 9th.
You're catching more than I am, man. I've missed so much.
Yeah. So, sports are coming back. Sports are coming back in a flash.
And the Blue Jays just tied the game, so that's good.
I was a little bit behind.
That's
but, yeah,
Vladimir
looks like
Guerrero
it.
Jr.
Of course it is. Who else would it be?
Marcus Semien, Bo Bichette,
trash.
Kevin Biggio.
They're all trash.
Okay.
They're all trash today.
Honestly,
they've all sucked today. Also, can I just say that, I mentioned Springer in the 5-hole, and you're like, no, put him at the leadoff, and look who's in the 5-hole.
I mean, that was a month and a half ago.
Look who's in the 5-hole.
What has he done today? I honestly don't know what he's done today.
I think he's 0-2.
I don't expect him to come out.
He's out with a ground out and a fly out.
Yeah, I don't expect him to come out and hit 2 home runs every night, but.
Oh, I do.
Okay, well.
I'm kidding. I'm not going to expect that from him. But anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Eddie and Chris, for joining us today. It was a great having you on. Hopefully we'll have some more people on next week. I don't know why he did a tip hat. I don't know if that's tipping off or anything. No. But also, keep a lookout on our social media pages on Thursday because we do have something dropping on Thursday morning, so you will want to keep an eye out for it. It goes
hand in hand with the CEBL season.
Why are you giving things away like that? Why?
You know what? Because you didn't
Because
say
Frankie
it.
does, this is why we can't have nice things. Because Frankie just ruins it.
I didn't ruin anything.
But yes, stay tuned for our social media pages on Thursday morning. We'll have the details posted probably around 10 o'clock Eastern time. But if Frankie has nothing else to say, I think that'll wrap up today's show.
Nope. Ready to go watch the draft lottery and the Habs win tonight.
Yeah, go Vegas.
Dude, shut up.
Go Vegas.
Stop.